Please let the House come back to order. We're going to go back to the appropriations. I'm going to recognize the chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies of the House, as the delay is, we're trying to get this. I think everything's kind of been agreed on. Right now, it's just the people don't understand the magnitude of work it takes from us agreeing till they get the bills, till they get them through, file them with the clerks, and then get them to us. So it takes a little while. So I appreciate your patience and your diligence. At this time, we're going to go forward with the bills that we do have, so we'll be taking them up. And I appreciate, like I said, your patience and your diligence in this effort. That's the first thing let's do. Let's go to today's calendar. First item will be House Bill 1379. I recognize the gentleman from Montgomery, the Vice Chairman, to explain the conference report.
Jim from Montgomery is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the House, this item number one, House Bill 1379, the appropriations for the Department of Insurance. That budget comes in at $11,972,846. That is $1,046,119 increase to LBR level of funding, which includes the salaries for health insurance increases, ITS, again, we went over all of this yesterday, restoration of cuts and agency operations, general fund for conference pay plan, and smoke alarm detector equipment within the facility. They make these available to our citizens of our state. This is a program that the insurance department has done for several years, and that's just that appropriations for that segment of it. And Mr. Speaker, that's an explanation of the conference report. I'd be glad to answer any questions if the member has any. If not, I just move for final adoption.
Questions? I don't see any. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on the conference report number 2 to House Bill 1379. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 113 yeas and 4 nays, the report is adopted. Next item.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, let's go to item number 2, House Bill 1381, the legislative, appropriation for legislative expense. The conferees adopted the following changes to LBR level of funding. The insurance program of $87,210. Also, operating expenses for the Senate, $750,000. Funds to purchase new state flags, $21,750. And various other funding mechanism, funding for staff needs at PEER, funding for computer software projects for the Capitol also. It's a total increase to LBR of $5,874,518, and the total budget comes in at $35,559,235. And that's an explanation of the second conference report, Mr. Speaker. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, Jim from Washington, Mr. Hines.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gentleman,
Yes, sir.
you said something about the insurance. Did the rates go up, or what was the change?
Insurance, health insurance across with every state agency seeing that, and we're making these, the percentage was 6%, I'm being told. Pretty much across the board for every state agency.
So does that mean the deductibles or the premium we pay is increasing?
That's correct. The premium.
So the premium we pay or the premium that the state pays for us?
We are paying it. We are.
So our deductible, the amount of money that we pay to have health insurance has increased from $20 a month for individuals to what?
I'm being told by that the individual cost is nothing to each individual employee. The state is paying that. That's what this appropriation is for.
So it changed from us paying $20 8 months for,
Nothing changes for the individual.
okay.
All right, I don't see any further questions. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on conference report number 2 to House Bill 1381. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Everyone voted. Close machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 114 yeas and 5 nays, report's adopted. Next item.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Item number 3, House Bill 1384. This is the budget for the Office of Supreme Court. This budget includes salaries for the same, the health insurance increases, restoration of LBR cuts, and contractuals. And this, a total increase of LBR level of funding of $349,412. And the budget comes in at $7,827,068. And that's an explanation of the conference report, number 2.
Questions? Jim from Washington, Mr. Bailey.
Well, the gentleman yield.
Yes, sir, always.
It's my understanding that the Supreme Court increased their budget this year, not the legislature, but the Supreme Court itself. Do you have any knowledge of that?
That's not addressed in this.
That's not addressed in this budget,
Okay.
these
but-
appropriations.
The judges are, the Supreme Court's not.
The
so
judges,
Okay, we have not increased their salary.
no, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, I don't see any further questions. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on conference report number 2 to House Bill 1384. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Closed machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 115 yeas and 3 nays, report is adopted. Next item.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, let's go to item number 4. House Bill 1387. Recognize the gentleman from Harrison to explain the conference report.
Jim from Harrison is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is your education appropriations for this year. Go through them here. Your general education money this year on the general money is $2,118,755,000. Okay, your Chickasaw interest, for you who do not know what this is, it is at $19,576,000. This is in lieu of 16th section land to some counties up north that do not have 16th section land, and that's a number that fluctuates by court. It's actually up about $3 or $4 million this year. We have no say-so in that. That goes straight through them, a flow-through. Mississippi Adequate Education Program this year, MAEP, $2,298,941. Your education, vocational, and technical money is $98,338. Your school from the blind and deaf is at $9,739,000. And I'm going to go over just briefly, just a little bit here about some of the funds here this year with your, that's in here. Overall, the education budget is up significantly. It's up over $102 million. It was a good year. So, you know, we hope we can maintain that. Don't know because the budget's changed. It's just a real good year for education as far as money going into it. We gave a $1,000 teacher pay raise. That was $51.5 million. We picked up the health insurance for our public teachers and staff. That was another $13 million. Teacher supplies is up to $8 million this year. Early Learning Collaborative, we added another $8.2 million. It's right above $16 million for this year. That's tremendous. That has really moved the needle for Mississippi. Math coaches, this is the first time we've had math coaches. We've had other coaches, we had early learning coaches, but we've never had the math coaches. There's $5 million in there for math coaches. That'll mostly go to our DNF districts to help move the needle there. We've made tremendous strides there, and we're going to continue in that direction. Early learning coaches, we've added another $1.5 million to them this year. Student assessments for work keys, we've got $1 million in there so that every kid who wants to take the work keys in lieu of the ACT or with the ACT can move that way in career technical stuff. We've got career technical grants for schools that need to upgrade some of their vocational programs. They'll have to put in a bid for that and plead their case. Mississippi Student Information System, that's MSIS. That is the, if you remember, I think last year, year before, when we gave a teacher pay raise, probably the year before, where we had the wrong number of teachers and all, this will help upgrade. This is something that we have tried to do for years and years and years, and the money just wasn't there. It's about a $10 million project. We're putting $7.6 million in it this year, and hopefully next year we can come and fund the rest. That should be able to get our teacher license and everything up just a little faster and more efficient. It is so outdated there. Computer cyber education, we put $700,000 there. That's in addition to the $1 million that C-Spire has committed to us. And we have fully funded the career and technical education, the Carl Perkins, at $3.1 million. So it's been a pretty good year for education, and there's always that risk of having to come back in a following year and lower that number some just because of budget restraints. But let me say this, in addition to all this, there is a tremendous amount of money going directly to the schools, to your school districts. I encourage your constituents to go to school board members, go to school board meetings and see how that money's being spent. Hold them accountable. You as legislators, I ask you to go to those school boards. They may not want you there, but I'm telling you, someone needs to be seeing that it is spent efficiently. Again, Mr. Speaker, this is the budget for education. Proud of this budget, and if there's no questions, I ask for final adoption.
Questions? Gentleman from Calhoun, Mr. Beckett? He's not over there. Gentleman from Hines, Mr. Brown?
Gentleman, yield, please.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, what overall percentage increase are we funding statewide education this year?
I think it's 2
Over and against last budget year.
4%.
4%.
4%.
Is that pretty much what the Teachers Association requested in terms of an increase? Or do
I
you-
have no idea what they requested.
You don't?
I don't. They didn't request it to me.
I can't hear you.
I got no request from them, no. But I'm sure they want as much as they possibly can get.
Well, that's what I'm driving at, but the 4% is what the increase over last year is.
Yeah,
Compared to this
it's a good, it's a big increase, yes. And we're always going to try, whatever the taxpayer and the budget can handle, that's what we're going to do.
Thank you.
Lady from Lincoln, Ms. Curry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentleman yield?
Yes.
I want to first say you've done a wonderful job on this budget, and I know you've worked hard, and I thank you for it.
Thank you.
I have one quick question. Mississippi School for Fine Arts, is that Mississippi School of the Arts?
Yes.
Okay. And that's level funding for
Yes.
them. So will that cover their teacher pay raise?
That is in there.
Okay,
Yes.
just
It
making
is.
sure.
Then let me say this, that's outside the MAEP, so if you didn't see it in the MAEP, it will roll over into it next year, but we wanted to make sure everyone got it, and like the School of Art, the math and all, that it wasn't rolled up in there, so we put it separate to make sure that everyone got the money.
Thank you so much.
All right, I don't see any further questions. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on conference report number 2 to House Bill 1387. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Everyone voted. Closed machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 119 yeas and 2 nays, report is adopted. Next item.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Leave it in the House. Let's go to item number 5. That would be House Bill 1391. Recognize the gentleman from Jackson, Mr. Barton, to explain the conference report.
Gentleman from Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Maybe the third time's a charm. We have, I think yesterday, passed this conference report. This is the 1391 is the reappropriation bill for the Bureau of Buildings. We passed the conference report yesterday. They had to recommit it this morning. They found an error in one of their numbers, but it is exactly the same bill with one change in the total number. They found that there was transposing there of some numbers. But this is through the Department of Finance Administration to the Bureau of Buildings. This is their reappropriation bill, appropriating money for projects that were approved last year, started but not completed. And that's an explanation.
Question? I don't see any. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on conference report number 2 to House Bill 1391. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Close machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 115 yeas and 4 nays, report's adopted. Next item.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, I would like to skip number 6, 7, and 8 and go to item number 9 and recognize the gentleman from Pike to explain the conference report.
Gentleman from Pike is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, this is House Bill 1398. This is the appropriation for Department of Human Service. Ladies and gentlemen, this is last year's budget was $67.4 million. Today's budget is $73.3 million, so it is an increase. Of course, as you know, also in this budget is with Department of Child Protection Services, and that budget is $111.8 million. There was some reappropriation of $14 million in the Child Protection Services. And so again, very pleased with really all of these healthcare budgets, Mr. Speaker, that we'll take up today or tomorrow. So that is the explanation of the Department of Human Service budget, Mr. Speaker.
Question? I don't see any. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on the conference report, House Bill 1398. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Closed machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 118 yeas and 2 nays, report's adopted. Next item.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to item number 10. House Bill 1399 is the appropriation for the Department of Rehab. And Mr. Speaker, this budget is coming as $28.5 million, which is in essence level funding for last year's budget. There was some reappropriation of $1.5 million for this agency, but again, like the other appropriations for the health care bills, very pleased with where we ended up after LBR. That is the explanation of the bill, Mr. Speaker.
Questions? I don't see any. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on conference report number 2 to House Bill 1399. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Closed machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 119 yeas and 2 nays, report's adopted. Next item.
Mr. Speaker, I need to move back up the calendar to item number 6, House Bill 1392, and move to have that bill committed.
Recommit? All right, motion is to recommit. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Next item.
Mr. Speaker, I'd also like to move back to item number 3 and move to reconsider the vote by which it was passed in order to have that bill recommitted also.
Motion is to reconsider the vote. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion is to recommit. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. That bill is recommitted.
Thank you. Back on the calendar.
Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, let's go to item 12. Would be House Bill 1412. I recognize the gentleman from Harrison to explain the conference report.
Question, gentlemen, has that one been refiled? On my calendar it says it's been recommitted, but I don't have any evidence it's been refiled.
Okay. Well, let's skip that one, Mr. Speaker, till I get this straight skinny on it, okay?
Okay.
All right, next, would be item,
In fact, everything left on the calendar has been recommitted. The only one that I have that's been refiled is 1385, which you recommitted earlier this morning, but I've been told it's been refiled.
that is correct.
Can we take it up?
I don't know if we have all the paperwork. If you want to, can we recess for about 15 minutes? Let me find out what is and what isn't, because the communication downstairs is kind of,
Absolutely.
let's do that. Let's recess for about
All
15
right,
minutes.
gentlemen, moves recess subject to call. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. House in recess subject to call. Got one more bill he says he can pick up at this time.
Again, I apologize. You're going to be in and out this afternoon as stuff trickles down from the other end of the building. So not pointing fingers, but we're ready and somebody else is not. That's all I'm going to say. At this time, I'd like to bring up a bill that you recommitted this morning. I'd like to bring up conference report for HB 1385. Recognize the gentleman from Montgomery as Vice Chairman to explain the conference report.
Jim from Montgomery, recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the House, this is the conference report on the Attorney General's office. This conference report comes in a total increase to LBR level of funding of $6,664,582. That increase involves $77,220 in salaries for health insurance increases that we've talked about, increases for ITS payments at $191,705. Restoration of LBR cuts of $554,444. 1.5 million additional authority for case management system and protective order system. These are contractuals, and 1.3 million for salary increases. Again, this budget comes in at a total of $33,750,748, and that's an explanation of the conference report, Mr. Speaker.
Questions on the report? I don't see any.
Move
Open the
adoption.
machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on the conference report number 2 to House Bill 1385. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Everyone voted. Close machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 108 yeas, 11 nays, report is adopted. Gentleman from Lafayette, Mr. Williams, for an introduction.
Introduction out of order, Mr. Speaker. We have in our presence here on the floor with us over by the gentleman from Jackson, Ms. Kay Medital, and we Ms. Kay, we thank you for being here. There's so many of your husbands and your great friends throughout the years, and I'm so proud that I am able to fill at least part of your shoes and your husband's shoes in the district that we love together. Thank you for being here.
Welcome back, Ms. Kay. We're glad to have you. Did you bring anything to eat? Okay. All right, gentleman from Pike, Mr. Porter.
Introduction out of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House, we have with us in the North Gallery Ms. Delisa Collins. She is a Clarksdale High graduate. She also attends FAMU Law School, and she is a retired Marine. And before I sit down, I'd like to say that she is also the artist and the author of this coloring book depicting the Delta, and it's called Down in the Delta. And Representative Payton would like to is also his former student as well. So let's help her, make her feel welcome.
All right. It appears you got something more you can do there, gentlemen?
No, sir. I was just going to say that's all we can do at this time.
Okay. We will recess subject to call, ladies and gentlemen. Any announcements before we do? All right, I don't see any. Recognize the gentleman from Octavia Hall for the motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recess subject to call.
All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. House is in recess subject to call. We'll let the House come back to order. Ladies and gentlemen, we are informed that the Senate is recessed till 7 o'clock tonight. So we're going to do what we can do, and then we'll see how the afternoon unfolds. Chairman of Appropriations is doing the best he can to get bills signed and to us to be voted on. Hopefully they will spend the next little bit doing that. As soon as we get some up voted on or signed, we'll bring them in here and vote on them. In the meantime, we have a couple more items we can take up. So Chairman of Local and Private says he has something he can do. We're going to recognize him.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We were just informed that the Senate invited conference on Senate Bill 3090. It's the Washington County Tourism Bill. So, Mr. Speaker, we'd like to invite conference.
Motion is to invite conference. Did I hear that right? Motion to invite conference. All in favor say aye. Opposed nay. The ayes have it. A lady from Amit has a matter she can take up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to call up the conference report for Senate Bill number 2624 and ask that you recognize the gentleman from Forest to explain the report.
This is item, page 10, item 29, ladies and gentlemen. Recognize the gentleman from Forest to present the report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, this bill will address the disciplinary proceedings involving licensees with the Real Estate Commission. When the bill came before the House before, basically it just provided for the appointment of basically attorney referee to address these proceedings. In conference, we clarified the venue for these proceedings and also just set a basic proof standard of clear and convincing evidence. Other than that, the bill remains the same. The appeal from the commission, the appeal from the administrative law judge is the same. Mr. Speaker, that's an explanation of the bill. I answer questions.
Questions? I don't see any. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on the conference report, Senate Bill 2624. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Close machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 120 yeas, 0 nays, report is adopted. I'm informed that the Chairman of Ways and Means has an item he can take up. I'll recognize him.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, we're going to move to item 20 under the Ways and Means calendar, Senate Bill 2971. This is your bond bill. This bill was filed late last night, right before the midnight deadline. A lot of hard work from a lot of different people, yourselves included, by bringing us worthy projects that are in this bill. And so I'm going to go over, I have a skinny, if you will, about what's in the bill, and be happy to answer any questions that are there. I have to tell the body that I do believe this is one of the better, if not the best bond bill that I've been a part of since I've been doing this for several years now. There are projects in here from the Tennessee state line all the way to the coast, and some really good projects, a lot of them infrastructure related, education related, and so forth. And it's just a good list, and we were able to help a lot of people, so I'm very proud of it. Hey, let me say this from the get-go. If you've looked at the bill and you didn't find your project, or if you don't hear your your town or your county, there's a companion bill coming. Some of the projects were done here in the bond bill. Some of the other projects were taken care of in appropriation that's coming out later this afternoon. That's, let me give you that number, probably going to be Senate Bill 2948. So when that bill gets filed later on, look in that bill for your projects if you don't see them here in the bond bill. I'll run through a list, and then I'll take any questions. We've got, in this bond bill, we've got all of IHL's ask for the bond bill, approximately $86 million. We've got all of community colleges ask, approximately $35 million in here to take care of for money out for every community college across the state. We have money for several state agencies, the Mississippi Community Heritage Preservation Grant Fund. We have continued money, $3 million, in addition to what we got last year for the Chickasaw Heritage Center for the Chickasaw Nations, those people that are returning to their native land outside Tupelo. We have IHL Research and Development Center repurposing language, and I'm just going to go section through section. We have several MDA projects, the Site Development Grant Program, the ACE Fund, the DIP program, which is Development Infrastructure Program, the Economic Development Highway Program, the Mississippi Industry Incentive Finance and Revolving Fund. We've got projects for a Chickasaw Trail Emergency Response Center in Lawrence County. There's projects in Marshall County, Concourse Workforce Training Center in Batesville, Longleaf Trace, East Metro Corridor, US 49 frontage road in Yazoo County. We've got Madison County, Yellow Creek, Prentice County, West Point, Lowndes County, Neshoba County, Starkville Road, Stark Road Extension in Tibbahall, George County. We've got reforms to the Children's Promise Act, the Children's Museum, Natural Science Museum, Indianola, improvements in Indianola. And this is where we get into more of some of the projects. We've got road repairs in Indianola, as I just said, Alcorn County, Jacinto Foundation up in Northeast Mississippi for the Jacinto Courthouse, projects for East Corinth Elementary School, Tishomingo County, George County again, Town of Bruce. Town of Bruce is in there again, and we've got City of Jackson. We have, hit some of these highlights, the Tugelo Senior Center, also here in Jackson, Pascagoula Redevelopment Authority on the coast. You got highway projects on Highway 4, Forest County, Lauderdale County, Jackson Public School District has a project in here. Wilkinson County, Jackson State University, Union County, more for the City of Jackson, City of Brookhaven, Lafayette County has a road project in here, the City of Oxford has a small project in here, City of Horn Lake, water assistance there. We've got City of D'Iberville down on the coast. We've got volunteer fire departments in Kemper County, Northgate Park in Hinds County, Clay County, Monroe County, another project in Hinds County, Town of Flora, Madison County, City of Clinton. We've got $1 million going to the Mississippi Ports Improvement Fund. We've got a road project in DeSoto County. We've got Claiborne County with Alcorn State. We've got City of Hazelhurst, City of Louisville, Town of Yapora, French Camp, Choctaw County, Webster County, Grenada County, Pontotoc County, the City of Shelby with a much-needed road project there in Shelby. Adams County has a couple projects. Hancock County down on the coast, Hickory Flat, Hattiesburg, Noxubee County, City of Morton, Scenic Rivers Development Alliance down in Macomb, Pike County, City of Columbia, fixing up Walter Payton Field at Columbia High School, City of Baldwin, Tate County, Atala County, Tunica County, Kosciuszko, Itawamba, Fulton, Long Beach School District, Kossuth, Volunteer Fire Department, City of Goshen, Laurel, Big Town of Delo, the Greenwood Cemetery Association here in Jackson to fix up Greenwood Cemetery, much needed repairs there, Warren County Port Commission, City of Philadelphia, City of Pearl, Town of Carrollton, Montgomery County, Winona, the Town of Duncan, Walthall County, Tylertown, Charleston, Tallahatchie County, Oakland, Sebastopol, Union, Seminary, Brandon, a cost associated with helping Tippah County at the Tippah County Hospital, Town of Artesia, City of Ripley, Town of Plantersville, more projects for Jackson, Camp Kamasa down in Copiah County, City of Ocean Springs, and the Town of Wesson. And if that's not a trip around Mississippi, I don't know what is. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your bond bill. There's a lot of good projects in here. I could read line by line, but it's 1,200 pages long. I will tell you this, there are some typos that have been found in the bill. As we do almost every year, we have some unanimous consent cleanup language that'll come back before you once the attorneys have the chance to read that and make sure they'll bring forth some typos. I know there's just a few that I already know of. I know Starville was mentioned in there twice. That was a typo on the same project. There's some cleanup language regarding Calhoun City and Vardaman that's going to come back before you. And then there's some cleanup language on the Children's Promise Act as well. I know I'll be back before you with the cleanup language on those. Those are just typos and some mistakes that were there in the bill because it was tough getting a 1,200-page bill finalized and in perfect form by midnight last night with all that was going on. So that's an explanation of the bill. I hope it's something that you're proud of. I believe we can all be proud of it, and there's a lot of good for the state of Mississippi in this bill. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Questions, gentleman from Holmes, Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would a gentleman yield?
Certainly, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, can we go to line 625?
Hold on just one second. Okay, gentlemen.
Is that a typo?
Give me 1 minute. I'm told no, that is their request this year.
And I guess that's what I'm going. So Mississippi Valley State requested $500,000.
Well, gentlemen, how this works is we get an IHL, and I think you've been here, you know this. IHL sent us a 4-year plan. And in that 4-year plan, Alcorn in year 1, they may have 20 million. In year 2, they may have 1 million. In year 3, they may have 5 million. And it's based over a 4-year plan. And so far, we started with the 4-year plan last year. This is year 2 of it, and we're doing it exactly as IHL requested. And it's the same way for every university.
So I guess that answers my question. My question is, this is recommendation coming from IHL.
Yes, sir.
IHL sent over a 4-year plan that last year Valley got 1.2, which was the lowest out of all of the colleges and universities. And then this year, their plan is $100,000.
Gentlemen, I can tell you, when we leave here, we can go down to my office, I'll pull out the 4-year plan, and you and I can read it together. And if this is any different from that 4-year plan, that'll be part of the unanimous consent that we'll fix.
Okay. And how does it work for the community colleges?
How much?
How does it work? Is it
there's an equitable formula that they figure out, and whatever the money is, this year is 35 million. It's split amongst that formula that the community college board has.
And gentlemen, I'm just looking at some of the numbers here. You know, Jackson State, $10 million, Delta State, 10.8 million community colleges. Start from $1.4 million and go up to $3.4 million. And one of our four-year state universities is only getting $500,000.
Gentlemen, I can tell you, I will look at that, and I'm telling you, we're following the plan to the T. And if Alcorn has been to see me this year, they've been there, and they had not one objection to the IHL proposal. They would have told me if they had.
Alcorn or Valley?
Both of them.
Okay. So, gentlemen, do you think we need to take a look at that formula?
We certainly, look, gentlemen, if there's anything there that's not equitable, we can look at it. I'm happy to look at it. But when the plan comes to me from IHL and Jackson State and Valley and Alcorn and all the other universities bless it, and they don't come to me with any problems in it, I can only assume that they're in favor of it. They know about it.
Gentlemen, let's go to line 2835. And I was just reading through the bill and it jumped out at me, and it really just needs some clarification.
Did you read all 1,200 pages?
Just about.
Okay.
But that's the one that deals with the Housing Development Revolving Loan Program. And I'm just a little confused. What are we doing? We taking money out of the loan, the housing revolving, the $1.4 million out and putting it in the municipality grant loan program?
That's the DIP program, gentlemen. That's what I suspected. So this was authorized many years ago, and it was, whenever it was, before my time, I don't know if it was before your time or not, before my time, that's existing law. That language was transferred out of that housing development fund and created the DIP fund, and every year we authorize more. So it's not a new 104 million. I can't tell you what the number was before. I can get that, though. It's just been increased pursuant to their ask for this year.
So that, because they got 3 asterisks there, so that means something been deleted.
That's
so
right.
You're telling me that's an increase and not
That's an increase. Yes, sir. It's commensurate with MDA's request for DIP.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Lady from Jones, Ms. Scott.
Would the gentleman please go to line 6,075, please? And if you could, gentlemen, if you would explain the scholarship granting organization administered by the Mid-South Association of Independent Schools, and if you could go through that slowly and explain that this tax credit.
I can read it to you, lady, but that language, 675 through 6075 through 6078 is part of what's being taken out by unanimous consent that I explained a few minutes ago. That's not going to be in the bill.
6075 to what now?
6078.
Okay, and can you explain these tax credits then?
Sure.
Thank
Sure.
you.
This is a program, this is the Children's Promise Act that we passed several years ago, and it helps, part of the tax credits go to foster care organizations, part of them go to schools for economically disadvantaged children in foster care, and things of that nature. There is a certain amount of tax credits that are authorized for every year, and the individuals can claim that on their income tax. In years past, we've added ad valorem tax this year as a tax credit part of it, and that's the explanation. It's an existing program, it's very popular, and it helps foster care in those other schools.
Okay, now, the other schools, you took out this school, but the other schools that you're talking about, can you explain to me what those other schools are?
Well, there's a list at DOR. I can't tell you every one of them, but there's a whole bunch of them. I have no idea what the full list is, but DOR on their website has a list of them.
Okay, and are these, you say these are children that are disadvantaged. Now, are these children developmentally disabled or intellectually disabled, or is it just simply that these children are economically disadvantaged?
Right. Let me read you that language to be perfectly exact.
Do you know of any of these schools?
It applies to folks who care for children that are in the well-being and in custody of the Department of Child Protection Services. Going further, It provides to educational services, charitable organizations that provide services to children in a foster care placement program established by Department of Child Protection Services, children placed under the Safe Families for Children model, or children at significant risk of entering a foster care placement program established by CPS, children who have a chronic illness or physical, intellectual, developmental, or emotional disability, or children eligible for free or reduced price meals, or selected for participation in the Promised Neighborhoods program sponsored by the U.S. Department of Education.
Okay, gentlemen, so these are basically private, these would be like private, like charters or?
I don't know, to my knowledge, there's no charter that participates, but again, that list has been up for several years now, and it's listed on DOR's website.
Okay, and my last question about this is, do you have any idea what the impact would be on the budget, on the budget for the state of Mississippi revenues?
It's capped every year, and it's $16 million.
$16 million?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Before I recognize the next questioner, I have an introduction I'd like to make, ladies and gentlemen. In the North Gallery is my friend Martin Huey, who now lives here, goes to church with me. Originally from California, he moved to Mississippi and loved it, and now lives here. And he's got some guests with him. Who all's with you there, Martin? Have them raise their hand. Oh, there's his wife Diane too. I didn't see her up there. So they got a crowd with them. Y'all please make them welcome. Next question, Jim from Washington, Mr. Hines. He's on the phone. Next question, Jim from Newton, Mr. Rushing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Jim Neal.
Yes, sir.
I apologize for not coming to you one-on-one prior to today, but I know you've been busy. Can you advise in the bond bill, traditionally, there's funding for the small municipalities grant, limited populations grant. Is that in here?
It is not in here this year. We were able to get money for it last year, gentlemen, but we had so many member requests, that when we decided on a final number to bond, I dare say that most everybody who asked for a project got a project. You might have got everything you asked for, but you got something. And so it was either start cutting out some of those projects, and we looked at them, and a lot of those went to smaller counties and municipalities. So the decision was made not to do that program this year and instead leave in these individual projects that the members had asked for.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you, sir. I just
Yes,
wanted
sir.
clarification on that.
Jim from Hines, Mr. Bell.
No, sir.
He passes. All right, I don't see any further questions. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on conference report number 2, Senate Bill 2971. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 110 yeas and 9 nays, the report is adopted. Gentleman from Madison, Mr. Bumgar, what purpose you seek recognition?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Parliamentary inquiry.
Yes, sir.
For the bill we just passed, the chairman said that he would ask for unanimous consent at some point to make changes to that bill. I just want to be clear that that has not happened yet. That will happen at a future date. Is that correct?
The council's typing that up. It'll be in written form, and I'll bring that before the body as soon as it's ready.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Do you have anything else that you can take up on Ways and Means? I notice you have a number of bills that have been filed, reports that have been filed. Item 9.
Where's the Temperance Subcommittee Chairman? Is he present? He can do 9.
I don't see him.
I can do 15, Mr. Speaker.
How about number 15?
All right. Item 15, Senate Bill 2839, is the conference report on the Smart Business Accelerate Initiative. That's some changes that IHL requested there. In that particular bill, we had multiple meetings with IHL, Kim Gillespie over there at IHL, and this is This is a program that was done several years ago, and it's a good program dealing with entrepreneurship at our universities. And it has not been utilized as well as they had hoped. And so these are some changes in there that they hope will help make it more attractive for entrepreneurs working with our universities. That's an explanation of the report.
Questions, lady from Jones, Ms. Scott?
No, sir, by mistake.
All right, I don't see any questions. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on the conference report of Senate Bill 2839. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 115 yeas and 3 nays, the report is adopted. Next item.
Mr. Speaker, 19, Senate Bill 2895, that one's ready to take up.
Okay, you recognize.
This is the bill that was recommitted and refiled. This is the bill dealing with energy projects in Chickasaw and Tunica County. There was some concern when it got filed. Attorneys had some concern. They discovered some language they felt might have been unconstitutional. And so wording was changed to get around, to satisfy the Constitution, if you will. And so that's an explanation of the report.
Question. I don't see any. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on the conference report number 2, Senate Bill 2895. Favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 116, 18 yeas and 1 nay, the report is adopted. Next item.
Mr. Speaker, I think that's all I can do at this time.
All right. Thank you, sir. Chairman of Transportation has an item he can take up, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to the in-conference general bills calendar, item 27. Conference report on Senate Bill 2598. Call it up.
You're recognized.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is a combination of a couple of bills that have already come before us and passed this body unanimously. It is the bills that deals with doing away with the intermediate driver's license. It also does away with the residency requirements for spouse and children of military personnel applying for a concealed carry permit, requires that the Commissioner of DPS be served along with the Attorney General if someone pushes back on losing a license, having it forfeited, or denied a license, those two bills. And then, in addition to that, it does 2 more things. It has the language from House Bill 740, which passed this body 110 to 7, that would require DPS to develop a program to issue a state ID to individuals without domicile. So that language is in this bill. Does one other thing. We're expecting some money to come down from the feds for electric vehicle infrastructure, and we need a place to put it, and this creates that fund. That's an explanation of the conference report.
Questions? I don't see any. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on the conference report, Senate Bill 2598. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 121 yeas, 0 nays, report is adopted. Is there any other item that a chairman wishes to take up? I have a supplemental calendar for the rules. Is the rules chairman around? You wish to take this one up, gentlemen? Sorry to wake you up back there.
Do you have the...
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If we could go to HR number 86 and HR number 88 and take them up in a block.
I'm going to recognize Madam Clerk to read the report of the Committee on Rules.
Thank you.
Report of Committee on Rules, H.R. 86, New Site High School Lady Royals basketball team commend for winning the MHSAA Class 2A State Basketball Championship. Tie sufficient to be adopted, H.R. number 88. Oak Grove High School football team commend upon winning the MHSAA Class 6A State Championship. Tie sufficient to be adopted.
Mr. Speaker, if we could take those up in a block, there are no.
Any questions on the resolutions? I don't see any. Excuse me. If you favor the resolutions, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolutions are adopted.
Immediate release.
Any objection? Hearing none, we will do that.
Thank you.
All right, I have not received any update from the Chairman of Appropriations. Chairman of Ways and Means indicates he's done all he's going to do. The only other one I see is item 6 on the general calendar, House Bill 382, chronic wasting, wildlife. You wish to take that up, gentlemen? Gentlemen, recognize this is item 6, page 7, ladies and gentlemen, item 6, House Bill 382.
This is a conference report for House Bill 382, conference report number 2. We passed this in our body 111 to 5. This has to do with the 5 fence enclosures. And looking at what we did last year, we came back this year and we considered some of the regulations we put in. Required some further testing, and we passed it 111 to 5. We took it to conference. We did notice that we felt like there should be some language in there to make it fair for the landowner around an enclosure. So on line 36, we added, if chronic wasting disease is detected within an enclosure, the commission shall not declare the surrounding or adjoining property within a 5-mile radius a CWD management zone. This assesses the landowner and doesn't hold him harmful if a detection is inside an enclosure. That's an explanation of the conference report.
Questions? Jump from Marion, Mr. Morgan.
Yes, sir. Just holler loud.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gentlemen, you.
Yes, sir.
In other words, basically what we're saying here is that people outside the enclosure wouldn't be held accountable, and the old rule stated that if chronic waste disease was found in that enclosure, it's a possibility that all deer, native deer within a 5-mile area of that pen would be killed. Or
exactly.
So that would do away with this.
What that does is that assists the landowner that's outside of the enclosure not be held in the CWD management zone. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I just want clarification on that.
All right, gentlemen, looks like we kind of got ahead of ourselves. It's my understanding, being informed by the clerk, that this was just refiled today. I did not understand that, which means it needs to lay over one night. So we will take it up tomorrow, gentlemen.
Very good.
Thank you for your hard work. That was an excellent explanation.
We'll do it again tomorrow.
We'll get second act tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have completed all we can do for the moment. It's my hope that the senators and the subcommittee chairman for appropriations are in the process of signing some reports, which we hopefully can take up later. It's 3 o'clock now. It'd be my recommendation that we take a maybe, I don't know. I hate to delay too long. I hate to keep you here subject to call because I have no idea. We could come back at 7. That gives everybody time to go get some supper, come back. We ought to have plenty to do by then. I guess y'all can vote and decide whether you want to do that or not. Okay. Yes, sir, Jim from Kemper. What purpose you seek recognition?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I got a request.
Yes, sir.
A while ago, when we voted on the bond bill, we got caught up in the moment back here, and we inadvertently voted our desk mate, the gentleman from Lauderdale, wrong on it. We need to change it from a yes to a no. It'd be item number 20, Senate Bill 2971.
All right, any objection? Change the gentleman's vote. Lady from Harrison, Ms. Crawford.
Request, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, ma'am.
On yesterday's calendar, item number 67, under in-conference appropriation bills, Senate Bill 2951, I would request unanimous consent to change my vote from no to yes.
Any objection? Change the lady's vote. Lady from Amite, Ms. Cockerham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a request. On today's calendar, item number 1, for House Bill number 1379, I was voted as aye. I'd like to change my vote to not voting.
Any objection? Change the lady's vote. Lady from Jones, Ms. Scott.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Speaker, on yesterday's calendar, on the general calendar, item number 12, House Bill 594, I would like to ask unanimous consent to have my vote changed from no to yes.
Any objection?
On the marine resources.
Change the lady's vote. Jump from Octavia Hall, Mr. Taylor.
Introduction out of order, Mr.
Yes,
Speaker.
sir.
Actually, it's an adjourning memory. I apologize. This is for Dr. Johnny Earl Raspberry, long-serving chair of the Clay County chapter of the NAACP and a community advocate. He passed recently, and we just wanted to honor his legacy and memory.
Thank you, sir. Lady from Harrison, Ms. Crawford.
I apologize, Mr. Speaker. I was wrong in my request. That was the wrong bill.
Well,
I ask
we
unanimous
changed your vote. You want to go back the other way from the way you were
I
in the
believe
beginning?
that bill was recommitted. I don't think we even voted on that yet.
Oh, you changed your vote on the bill we didn't even vote on?
Correct. So disregard that, please. I would request unanimous consent to change my vote on yesterday's in-conference Ways and Means Bill, item number 8, House Bill 1135, from no to yes.
Any objection?
I apologize again.
All right. Now, Jim from Prentice, Mr. Arnold. Come back at 7. Hopefully, we will have plenty to do then. That gives you opportunity to get yourself a bite to eat, and it gives opportunity for our conferees to work on the appropriations bills. Keep in mind, those of you with general bills, you chairman with general bills, there's an 8 o'clock deadline to file conference reports for general bills. So those two deadlines are running concurrently. Be sure and get your stuff filed and in on time. Seeing nothing further, I'm going to recognize the gentleman from Octavia Hall for the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If we could recess until 7 o'clock this evening.
All right. Motion is recessed to 7 p.m. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. House is in recess till 7 p.m.